Hari Om. Good morning, children. Now let's do the chapter, the 3 questions from the book Honeycomb, which is the first chapter, written by Leo Tolstoy. Here I've given you some meanings of the difficult words. The first one is wounded. The meaning is severely injured. Second one is awoke. The meaning is got up from sleep. Third one, forgive, means pardon. Fifth one is faithful, it means loyal. Next one is pity, which means feel sorry for. And the next one is beds. So remember, the hermit was digging beds. So that bed means small patches of ground for plants. The next word is return, means give back. Then comes council, which means a group. Hermit means saint. Greet means welcome. Faint means to become unconscious. Seized means to took away. Now let's look into the summary of this chapter. Once upon a time, there was a king who felt that he must know the answers to 3 questions to be a successful ruler. The questions were, what is the right time to begin something? Second question, which people should he listen to? Third one, what is the most important thing for him to do? The king declared to give a large sum of money as a reward to anyone who gave him the answers. Many wise men came, but their answers were all different. However, the king wasn't satisfied with any suggestions. So he sought after the advice of a hermit known for his wisdom. He dressed himself as an ordinary person and went to the woods. Before he reached the hermit's hut, he left his horse with his bodyguard and asked him to stay back and keep an eye on him till he returned. The king saw the hermit digging the ground, and out of compassion, he took the spade from the hermit and began to dig for him. The tired hermit sat on the ground to rest. The king kept on asking the hermit about 3 questions, but the hermit remained silent. Hours passed and it was already sunset. The king asked again, to which the hermit said that someone was running towards them. The hermit saw a bearded man running towards them with his hands pressed against his stomach. He was badly wounded and bleeding. When he reached, he fainted and fell to the ground. The king and the hermit nursed the bearded man until the bleeding stopped. The king gave him fresh water to drink. They carried him to the hut and laid him on bed. The tired king lay down on the floor and slept through the night. The next day, when the king woke up, the bearded man apologized to him. He admitted that he was king's enemy and had heard about the king's visit to see the hermit. Thinking that it was the right time to avenge his brother's death, the bearded man followed the king to kill him. But instead, he was recognized and attacked by the king's bodyguard. The king once again asked the hermit to answer his 3 questions. This time, the hermit answered all his questions. The answers were, to the first question, what is the right time to begin something? He gave the answer, now is the time to do every action because now is the only time that we have power. His second question was, which people should he listen to? And the answer that hermit gave was, the right person is, who are you with? The third question was, what is the most important thing for him to do? And the answer that he got was, the most important thing is to do good for the person you are with. So this is the summary of the chapter. Hope you have understood that. Now I would like to discuss the question and answers based on this chapter. Part 1. The first question is, why did the king want to know answer to 3 questions? The king wanted to know answer to 3 questions because he thought that if he knew the answer, then he would never fail. Now the second question, messengers were sent throughout the kingdom. The options are given to you. The options are to fetch wise men, to find answers to the question, to look for wise hermit, to announce a reward for those who could answer to the question. And the correct option is the fourth one, that is to announce a reward for those who could answer to the question. Now you have part 2, in which you have comprehension check. You are given options in the box. Based on the understanding of the chapter, you have to complete these sentences. The first sentence is, many wise men answered the king's question. Dash. So you can complete this way. Many wise men answered the king's question, but their answers were so varied that the king was not satisfied. Second sentence is, someone suggested that there should be a council of wise men. Dash. So you can fill it with this option, to help the king act at the right time. Now the third one, someone else suggested that the king should have a timetable. You have the dash there and you can fill it this way. Someone else suggested that the king should have a timetable and follow it strictly. Fourth one, the king requested the hermit. Dash. So you can opt for this answer to answer 3 questions. Now fifth one, the king washed and dressed the bearded man's wound. Dash. But the bleeding would not stop. Now you have question and answers based on this chapter. The first question is, why was the king advised to go to magicians? You can answer this way. Some people felt that there were certain things which could be urgent and could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time to do that, king was advised to go to magicians to know about his future. Question 2. In answer to the second question, whose advice did the people say would be important to king? Their answer is, in answer to the second question, the people said that the advice of his counselors, priest, doctor, and soldiers would be important. Third question, what suggestions were made in answer to third question? Answer is, in answer to the third question, 3 suggestions were made. Those were science, fighting, and religious worship. Question 4. Did the wise men win the reward? If not, why? The wise men did not win the reward because the answers were different and the king was not satisfied with their answers. Question 5th. How did the king and the hermit help the wounded man? The king and the hermit removed the wounded man's clothes. The king washed the large wound in his stomach and dressed it twice. 6th question. Who was the bearded man? Why did he ask for king's forgiveness? The answer is, the bearded man was king's enemy. Second part, why did he answer the king's forgiveness? Why did he ask for the king's forgiveness? The answer is, he asked for the king's forgiveness because it was the king who had saved his life. Seventh question. The king forgave the bearded man. What did he do to show his forgiveness? Answer is, the king said that he would send his servants and his own doctor to look after him and promised to give him back his property. Question number 8. What were the hermit's answers to the 3 questions? Write each answer separately. And then you have to mention which answer do you like the most and why. So the hermit's answers to 3 questions were, the first one, the most important time was when the king was digging the beds. The hermit was the most important man for king. The most important business for the king to do good for hermit. And we like the third answer because to do good for others is the most important thing. Now question 2. Each of the following sentences has 2 blanks. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate form of word given in brackets. So you can see there are several sentences given there, and in the end in brackets you are given some words. So what you have to do is you have to fill in the blanks using the right form of these words. Let's see, one example is given to you. He has dash to help me. Do you think he will remember his dash? In the bracket the word given is promise. So what you have to do is you have to write the correct form of promise and fill in the blanks. So here the answer is, he has promised to help me. Do you think he will remember his promise? In the similar way, you have to fill in the rest of the blanks. Hope you have understood that. Thank you.